Victorian decor can be many things, and one of them is confusing. So today I'm at the Eckert House in Wheeling, West Virginia to talk to interior designer Gretchen Figaretti to learn all about Victorian decor. I'm hitting the road, searching for answers, and finding great design. It's a quest for beauty, function, and of course, inspiration. The first thing she taught me was how to choose furniture.
Actually, anything that is Victorian in style or pre-Victorian works. Strictly Victorian furniture, Victorian reproduction furniture, or Victorian furniture is fine if you don't care about comfort.
But most people do. So Gretchen recommends testing Victorian reproduction furniture pieces before you buy, or choosing newer pieces that are similar in style to those used by the Victorians. Otherwise, you may end up with a pretty room you never use. After talking about furniture, Gretchen moved on to discuss the accessories to use when looking for Victorian decor.
Anything that feels good, that feels old, that feels vintage. If you want to stay strictly Victorian, anything that is 19th century or older.
Decorative lamps, stained glass, mirrors are all great accessories, and use lots of them. The Victorians definitely weren't minimalists. They liked to show off, and cramming numerous items and patterns into a room is one way to capture the Victorian look. And I can imagine most of it needs to be somewhat ornate, somewhat decorative, because that was very Victorian.
Right, and a lot of stuff, a lot of items together just kind of set the mood too.
While decorating the main part of your home in a Victorian style may be easy, the kitchen is a bit trickier. Victorian kitchens were not as sophisticated as the ones we use today. As a result, there's not much to go by when decorating a Victorian-style kitchen. But Gretchen suggests using architectural details typical of the Victorian period as a starting point.
So the way I went about doing this kitchen, designing the kitchen, I looked at the Victorian elements that were in the room, the corner blocks with the flowers, the beadboard, the divided windows, and I incorporated those elements into the cabinets. The divided cabinets.
Yes, you did. And the beadboard?
The beadboard, the flowered
handles. It's all in this kitchen.
Right. Now, if you don't have a Victorian house and you want to have a Victorian kitchen, I would just depend upon the accessories.
And don't forget color. The colors you use in your kitchen and other rooms in your home can greatly add to the Victorian feel.
Certain colors were preferred in Victoriana. Burgundy, as I used in this room, was a very popular color.
Yes, it's what I always think of when I think of Victorian. To find colors typical of the Victorian era, Gretchen suggests looking at reproduction wallpapers and fabrics for inspiration. And also look for patterns. The Victorians used numerous patterns. Whether on wallpaper, lincrusta, fireplaces, rugs, or fretwork, pattern was everywhere. And when you combine all the aspects of Victorian decor together, you will have a beautifully decorated Victorian-inspired home that's perfect for showing off. After all, that's what the Victorians like to do. For extra information about where I've been and what I've learned, visit my website, www.askthedecorator.com.